Today in Unit 11, Lesson 1, we're talking about the circumference of a circle. The circumference is the distance around it. It's like the perimeter. So the formula we use is C equals pi times D, and you should have already watched the video that explained where the formula came from. So when you are finding area and circumference, here's the first thing that you have to do. The first thing you need to do is figure out which one's the radius and which one's the diameter. The radius, remember, is the one that is halfway across. So the radius would be halfway across, and the diameter would be the whole way across. So when you are calculating area, you need to write down R equals and D equals to start to find the radius and diameter. Our question says the diameter of a circle is 16 centimeters. What is the circumference? So if the diameter is 16, I know it's the whole way across, and the radius is half of that. Half of 16 is 8, because we could do 16 divided by 2 equals 8. Now, you might be asked two things. You might be asked to find the exact answer. Remember that pi, we usually use 3.14 for it, but it's actually never ends. It's 3.14159 and on and on and on and on. So if they say they want the exact answer, that means that you leave the pi. So circumference equals pi times diameter. We're finding the circumference. Pi never changes, and the diameter, we're going to use 16. So when they want the exact answer, it will say, you will actually write C equals 16 pi, because they like the number first and the pi at the end. But most of the time you will see that they want a rounded answer, and they'll say use 3.14 for pi. So it would say like use 3.14. And I'm sorry, you don't have a lot of space here. So I would still start with pi times D, but this time they want me to use 3.14. So I put 3.14 instead of pi times our diameter, which is 16. So I would do 3.14 times 16 and get 50.24 centimeters. They also might say find circumference in terms of pi, which is the same thing here, which is what you do when you find the exact answer. So this question, it says find the circumference in terms of pi. So we first write down our radius and diameter. This time it's halfway, so my radius is 5. Diameter is all the way across, double it, so I have to do 5 times 2 to get 10 for my diameter. So in terms of pi means use pi. So C equals pi times D. That means C equals pi times our D is 10. So the circumference is 10 pi. But if it says find circumference, but round to the nearest tenth, that would mean use 3.14. So this time I have circumference, it's still pi times D, but circumference is going to be 3.14 for pi this time, times the diameter, which is, we found out up at the top, which was 10. So 3.14 times 10, we will get 31.4 inches. Now, sometimes you are given the circumference and you have to work backwards to find the radius or diameter. So if that happens, we know that the circumference is pi times the diameter. And as we know from algebra, the opposite of times is division. So we are going to work backwards. We would divide by pi. You still want to write down your R equals and D equals, but that's what we're trying to find. So we can't do anything with that right now. In this question, they tell us our circumference is 48 pi. So we take our formula, circumference divided by pi equals, actually this one's even easier than that, equals the diameter. So they tell us our circumference is 48 pi, so that's 48 pi divided by pi equals the diameter, and 48 pi divided by pi is just going to be 48. So we will find out that the diameter is 48. So the diameter is 48, but we don't want diameter in this question, we want the radius. So we'll have to divide that by 2, and 48 divided by 2 will get the radius is 24 centimeters. And I am really bad about forgetting my labels. All right, we're going to try number 1. I know it's 1 and 5 because those are the questions I like better. So we're going to try number 1, then you're going to try number 5 on your own. So question number 1 says they gave you the circumference of 56.52. We know that we're using the circumference divided by pi. Sorry, my computer's being weird again. Equals d. So circumference, they gave it to us 56. Let me write slower maybe. 56.52 divided by 3.14 equals the diameter. So now I just do that in my calculator. 56.52 divided by 3.14, and I will get 18. So I got that my diameter is 18, but that's not what the question is asking for. The question here wants the radius, and of course it won't let me move it over. So I'll just have to pretend. R equals D equals. Don't rewrite this. You have it on yours. My picture's just in the way. So we got the diameter was 18. Radius is halfway across, so the whole way across is 18. Halfway across is going to be 9. So our radius is 9 centimeters, and our diameter is 18 centimeters. Now try number 5. Okay. Hopefully this is what you have, and now you're ready to practice.